Welcome everyone. We have the Yolopark Starscream from their AMK Pro series. This is a G1 styled Yolopark figure. We've had a couple of these already released. We've had Optimus Prime and we had Megatron, and we even had another version of Optimus released recently. So in their continuation of bringing these characters to the AMK Pro series, now we have Starscream. He is designated here with the Chapter 3. So let's get into the packaging. We've got some nice line art. On the top, we've got the 40th anniversary logo. On the side, we've got the Transformer logo. On the other side, a little variation of it. And on the bottom, Transformers logo. On the back, we've got a representation of what we get, the accessories, and a little bit of a demonstration on how these parts are going to fit together. And yes, you do have to put this together, but it's not as complicated as putting a full model kit. It's more like assembling a figure. So let's get this guy open. So inside, you're going to get the main tray with all the parts here. You're going to get an instruction booklet that's actually very nice and is in full color. And you have a separate tray that has the display base and some of the extra parts for Starscream. So let's put this guy together. The instructions show that you put these parts onto the upper thigh, but they are already installed out of the package. He's got a gimmick where you can change the faces out and you just lift up from the bottom, and he has a more stoic face and then a slight cocky grin. And then last, he's got a flight stand, and there is some assembly also required for this. And one extra thing while putting this guy together, this side was pretty hard to push in, so you might have a little bit of trouble with that. Or maybe yours would be on this side, or hopefully you don't have any issues. So that's him all put together. So let's talk about accessories. So he's got some missile pod effects, and you will need to lift this flap in the front, and it kind of goes into one of the cross sections here. It does not clip to the actual missile pod. So you get this pretty cool effect. He also has blast effects, and you're going to need to use both of these in combination. They don't seem to work by themselves. And then you can place them on the ends of his null rays. Or you can place them on his thrusters. So if you want to put him in a flight stand position, you can do that. For articulation, there's a lot to work with. So this guy pretty much has the same articulation scheme as just about all the other AMK series. So he's got these disc hinge shoulders that are on a swivel. The bicep swivels. The elbow is double elbow. The hands have a masterpiece style setup where the thumb is on a ball peg. The index finger has two joints. The last three fingers are together and have a joint at the center and a joint at the knuckle. The hand is on a ball joint, so there is some back and forth that you can do with that. He does have a waist swivel, kind of, sort of, more of an ab crunch, but the construction and the design of the figure really prevents you from being able to do some crazy twists, but he does have an ab crunch, so that's interesting. The thighs are on a disc hinge system with a drop down lever, so you can get some pretty extreme motion with the legs. There is a skirt here, and the skirt has two articulation points, so you can move this thing completely out of the way, and you can hopefully not break your figure, but you can get a pretty extreme pose if you get everything out of the way. There's also a upper thigh swivel, and in general, be mindful of when you're pegging these joints in, because it takes a bit of extra effort to get it all the way in. So if the joint is not flush, probably need to push it in more. Knees, we've got double knees, so he can go all the way back. The cut doesn't look too bad, looks actually pretty nice. And then the feet, the joint is pretty tight, but it does go up and down, and there is an extreme side pivot, not so much in the other direction. It's almost like they engineered it not to. And that's pretty much it. The head is on a ball joint, so you get lots of room there. The null rays are actually on a ball joint, so not only do they swivel, but there is a bit of, rounded articulation there. And then last, the wings do move out of the way, so they are on a hinge. So going over the details of the figure, this guy is pretty amazing. This definitely looks like they modeled this off of the Masterpiece sculpt. It basically looks like Masterpiece Starscream with a little bit more line detail. There is some scoring and damage and dry brushing here and there, and lots of panel lining. He's got very much this kind of lived-in look. So if you took your Masterpiece figure and wanted to give him a little bit of battle damage, you would end up with something that looks like this. So let's compare this guy. So we've got our first release with Optimus. Optimus is a little bit taller, which looks good. And then we've got our Megatron. Move him around because Megatron's gun is going to get in the way. And Megatron and Optimus are about the same size, but he's an appropriate size to these two. And I do appreciate this guy's got painted eyes. I like the gimmick of having LED eyes, but you know, how long are you going to have this guy lit up, battery turned on, using that feature? And when it's not, it basically looks like they're dead because their eyes are black. So this already is kind of a better release. And it seems like Yolopark is slowly improving on the execution. I definitely like this better than what 3.0 is doing. And 3.0 is a bit more stylized. But how can you not like this? This is just an awesome figure altogether. There's also a lot of die cast. So there's the upper intakes are die cast. I believe these front pieces are die cast. The feet are die cast. It was kind of hard to tell, but there may be some die cast in the legs too. But he doesn't feel too heavy. Like the weight is pretty nice with this guy. And last, let's compare him with the actual Masterpiece. And you can see they are definitely extremely similar. And you can tell the guys who designed this looked at this and basically looked at it as a template to create this figure. So for posability and playability, as far as a figure goes, like the robot mode goes, this guy is pretty amazing. Now, I wouldn't say he's better than a Masterpiece figure, but there are some advantages to not having to deal with stuff like that. So, great figure, highly recommended, and I'm really looking forward to Yolopark coming out with more of these. Thank you for watching. Please tune in to more videos coming up. And if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.